Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. So just going to give you an update on some transfer news. So there is big news coming out regarding Sergio Regulion from Real Madrid. And this is positive news from a Manchester United perspective. So according to Marca, they have said that Manchester United are close to signing Sergio Regulion. Negotiations between Manchester United and Real Madrid have intensified. Now, Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, he has said that Manchester United are considering a move for the player and we will submit a bid very, very soon. Now, I think we're preparing to put around the €25 million bid in, which equates to around 23 million in pounds sterling. And Fabrizio Romano has already said that Regulion wants to join Manchester United and the personal terms and that are not an issue. Now, Real Madrid have already revealed their asking price. They want around €27 million. That equates to around 25 million in pounds sterling, but we are reluctant to meet their asking price. Now, there was reports coming out recently saying that Sergio Regulion had rejected a move to Manchester United because he wants to make a return to Sevilla. Obviously, last season, Sergio Regulion was on loan with Sevilla. I think he played around 38 games in all competitions. He's also had a few other loan spells as well with the Logruns. Now, the stumbling block in this is that Real Madrid want to include a buyback clause in Regulion's contract, but Manchester United don't want a buyback clause included. Now, Sergio Regulion is under contract with Real Madrid until 2023. He has been at Real Madrid for several years. I think he joined their youth setup in 2005. I think he's been at Real Madrid, is it around 15 years now or something like that. But it's looking very imminent he's going to be leaving Madrid anyway because he obviously can't get in Madrid's team because Zinedine Zidane prefers Ferland Mendy and Marcelo ahead of Regulion. It also mentions that Tottenham have been interested in him. But I said, it will be very, very beneficial if Manchester United can get a left back in. Obviously, we've got two predominant left backs in the team at the moment, and that's obviously Luke Shaw. He's our first choice left back, but my element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's injury prone. And Brandon Williams, he's our backup left back, but we've obviously got Delort and Timothy Fosu-Mensah that can be deployed as left backs. So yeah, Sergio Regulion could be our second signing in this summer transfer window. So more will update about it. Now, I want to give you some breaking news on Alex Telles from Porto. Now, according to recent reports, Porto have lowered Alex Telles' asking price to just 18.5 million. It recently said that Porto were looking for around £27 million. Now, Alex Telles' agent was in Manchester not so long ago to thrash out a deal for his client to join Manchester United. Now, Alex Telles has scored a good 20-odd goals for Porto and he's got around 55 assists. I think he's enjoyed around 4 years with Porto. His contract with Porto does expire next year. So from a Porto perspective, they'll want to cash in for him now rather than letting go on a free next year. Obviously, before he was at Porto, he had a loan spell with Inter Milan. Before then, he was at Galatasaray. When he was a lot younger, he was at Grêmio, and before that, he was at Juventud, and he is the age of 27, and he's another left-back on Manchester United's agenda. Now, I want to delve into some breaking news on Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. Now, it's very, very unlikely that Manchester United are going to sign Sancho in this summer transfer window. Borussia Dortmund's boss Lucien Favre has said that Sancho will stay at Borussia Dortmund because he said that Borussia Dortmund need him. And I said to that Sancho's transfer to Manchester United won't happen unless Borussia Dortmund reduce their asking price. And quite frankly, Borussia Dortmund aren't going to reduce their asking price. Throughout the course of this transfer saga, Borussia Dortmund have remained ruthless over their valuation. Obviously, their valuation is £108 million. But Fabrizio Romano did recently say, didn't he, that the personal terms and the agent fees and a contract worth 250 grand a week had been agreed. Obviously, the contract worth 250 grand a week would make Sancho the third highest paid player at Manchester United behind De Gea and Paul Pogba. But it's just Borussia Dortmund's asking price. Now, obviously, Borussia Dortmund's sporting director Michael Zorg said last month that Sancho will be staying at Borussia Dortmund and the decision is final. Don't forget, Dortmund said we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We missed out on that deadline, so Sancho obviously went out on pre-season. But it did say, didn't it, a few weeks ago that we're going to abandon our chase for Sancho until the summer of 2021. But it did say we will not give up on the signing of Sancho unless he publicly says that he wants to stay at Borussia Dortmund. Now, don't forget Mike Phelan, who was our assistant. He said that Man United could be closing in on a deal for Sancho. And he's recently been following Sancho on Instagram. But Sancho has said quite a few times, that he wants to come to Manchester United, and I've outlined the reasons why I want him at the football club is because he's got a very good friendship with Rashford. He's predominantly a right winger, and Manchester United are in search for the right winger. And he's still very, very young, but I just feel as though he's too expensive. I think he's a very good player, but I don't think he's worth what Dortmund are demanding. I think he's probably worth from between 70 to 80 million pounds. Don't forget, we said we want to sign Sancho by the time we play Crystal Palace, and Sancho has held several talks with Solskjaer, and I think Sancho's told Solskjaer that he wants to play for the football club. Now, obviously, if we would have signed Sancho, then we would have given him the number 7 because he'd have fulfilled number 7 well. We've had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations, but we've got number 7 vacant at the moment. Sancho has enjoyed 3 exceptional years with Dortmund. Dortmund only paid £8 million him from Man City. He has still got a contract with Dortmund until 2022. I said if he'd have been sold in this summer transfer window, City would benefit from it because they would get around 15% of the transfer fee. We've been looking at alternatives to Sancho recently. We've looked at 3 new alternatives recently. We've looked at obviously Gareth Bale from Real Madrid. I heard now he could go for just £18.5 million. Very cheap solution. Because I think Gareth Bale's made an admission saying he would like to make a return to the Premier League. He's obviously played in the Premier League before because he enjoyed 6 years with Tottenham. I think he's recently held talks with Zinedine Zidane as Bale regarding his future. He's been training away from the Real Madrid first team squad as Bale, so that's fueled speculation up. Bale's enjoyed 7 seasons with Real Madrid. Won a total of 13 major honours. Real Madrid paid £85 million for Bale from Tottenham back in 2013. And Bale's still got a contract with Real Madrid until 2022. He is on like 600 grand a week, so his wages are substantial. It says that Real Madrid will be willing to pay half of his wages if they can offload him. He was very, very close to joining the Chinese Super League, was it last summer, because he'd been offered £1 million to play there. My only element of concern about Bale is that he is injury prone. There's obviously been rumours about him possibly reuniting with Tottenham. Douglas Costa, he's another alternative to Sancho we've been looking at. Where we've been also looking at who's the other one? Joe Felix, that's it from Atletico Madrid. He's another alternative we've been looking at. So yeah, Sancho probably will end up staying at Dortmund for this season. But Solskjaer did say, didn't he, he's been very, very infuriated with the Sancho deal. And can you blame him? Because it's been going on for so long. I think we've been in for him for like the last 3 years. And Solskjaer's urged Ed Woodward to get Sancho on the board. But, just Borussia Dortmund won't lower their asking price. And, they've lost a lot. They've lost a few big names in recent years. They lost Aubameyang, they lost Pulisic, they lost Ilkay Gundogan, they lost Mkhitaryan, they lost Kagawa at one point, they lost Matt Hummels, Ousmane Dembele, Robert Lewandowski. And, we've already missed out on 2 players under Solskjaer, and that was obviously Erling Haaland and Jude Bellingham, because they both went to Borussia Dortmund. So that is the breaking news on Sancho. But don't forget, last month, Fabrizio Romano come out and said that the terms had been agreed and Sancho was going to sign a 5-year deal with the club. But obviously, just after that, he said that talks had broken down. Christian Falk, he's spoken about the Sancho saga a few times. James Cooper, who was close to United quite a few weeks ago, had spoken about it. And he said Man United don't miss out on players that they intend on signing. And I think he's missed Dortmund training a few times as well, because he made an admission saying he's sometimes late for Dortmund training because of his sleeping disorders. So that's the breaking news on that. Jack Grealish, he still remains on Manchester United's agenda. Dayot Upamecano, we're planning to get him now next summer from RP Leipzig, because obviously he will be cheaper next summer, because that's when his release clause will be active, because he recently signed a contract with RP Leipzig, didn't he, until 2023. But Solskjaer recently gave us an update on our transfer plans, and he says, Manchester United still remain active in this transfer market, and obviously we're looking to make new signings. Solskjaer said he wouldn't be too disappointed if we didn't make any more signings. He can be content without any more signings. But obviously he's demanding more signings, and obviously Solskjaer has been frustrated with obviously the board over the lack of transfer business in this summer transfer window. Because so far we have only made one signing, and that was Donny van de Beek. And Solskjaer has said, hasn't he, he wants to make 3 more signings after Donny van de Beek. But, you can see that Solskjaer's trying to change the culture of the club, and you can see that he's trying to improve the squad, because there's still key areas where Manchester United are lacking. And Solskjaer's he's publicly admitted that Manchester United have got to spend money in this summer transfer window if we are to compete with the likes of, City, Liverpool, and now perhaps Chelsea. So I feel as though he is progressing as Manchester United, and he is totally blameless. This summer transfer window is Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. And Woodward said quite a few times that, he's determined to back Solskjaer. The Glazers said, that they're determined to back Solskjaer. But I just don't think Solskjaer's getting backed enough, and I think he does deserve more backing. But, the summer transfer window shuts in is it 3 weeks or just under 3 weeks? And Manchester United have still got quite a lot to do, not only bring more players in, we've also got to sell players, and we're struggling to offload our fringe players. Obviously we're looking to get rid of Jesse Lingard, we're looking to get rid of Andres Pereira, we're also looking to get rid of Smalling, Rojo, Jones, Delors, because they are the deadwood at the club. Sergio Romero's open to leaving Manchester United, because he's obviously not going to want to stay at Man United now that he is third choice goalkeeper. To be fair to Solskjaer, he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in to the football club. Obviously he's got rid of the likes of Sanchez, Romelu Lukaku, Angel Gomez, Ander Herrera, Marian Fellaini, Matteo Darmian, Ashley Young, Valencia. They've all left the club. Don't forget, we've loaned a few players out a few weeks ago. We loaned Tahith Chon out to Werder Bremen. He went out on loan as well. Dylan Levitt, he went out on loan to Charlton. We're looking to loan James Garner out. Joe Pereira, he recently got loaned out again for another season. Like I said, Solskjaer has got a goalkeeping decision to make. I think probably David De Gea will remain number one this season. At least, David De Gea's been our number one goalkeeper for several years, but I just think he's too much of a liability now to remain our number one. Solskjaer, I think, has got to put Dean Henderson as number one, because I think now Dean Henderson's reliable enough, and Dean Henderson has now got that experience behind him. Because he recently enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield United, and we got Dean Henderson at the age of 14, so he has been part of the club for several years, and he recently threatened to leave Manchester United if he doesn't get assured to be our number one. But like I've said to you, this season is a big season for Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It really, really is. Because it's very, very imperative that we do have a strong start to this season. Like I said, within our first 7 games, we've got Arsenal and Chelsea. They're going to be very tough games. We've also got Tottenham and Everton. But the first 2 games we should win. Palace should win and Brighton we should win. But I said, didn't I, this season is the big test for Solskjaer. It really, really is. Because obviously, this season he's going to have bigger expectations to exceed. If we're to make another few signings, then I think we'll be expected to challenge for the title this season. I think we're also expected to win some silverware this season. In the entirety of our history, we have won 45 trophies. 38 of them trophies came under Ferguson. We've obviously only won 3 trophies since Ferguson retired, and that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League and the League Cup under Jose Mourinho. We've not yet won out in terms of silverware under Solskjaer, and Solskjaer has been at the football club now over a year and a half. And obviously, we need to see improvements this season. I think Solskjaer's got to improve his decision making. I think there's still aspects of our game that have got to improve, and there's still certain players that have got to improve at Manchester United, But obviously, at the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. At that point, Solskjaer was very close to getting sacked as Manchester United manager. There was talks of Mauricio Pochettino coming in, and there was also talks of Massimiliano Allegri coming in, but Solskjaer exceeded most of his expectations last season, apart from winning a trophy. We did get qualification for the Champions League, and I did say how important Champions League was for our players, attracting players and for the financial structure. We also finished 3rd, and we did progress to 3 semi-finals. Now, I'm hopeful that we can win a title under Solskjaer at some point, hopefully, if it works out this season under him. Because if we are to do bad this season, then obviously Solskjaer will be under pressure. But if we was to win the title under Solskjaer, then obviously it would be our first title under him and our 21st title overall, because as it stands at the moment, we have won 20 titles, but we have not won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it for 7 years. There's Manchester United fans that don't think Solskjaer's good enough anyway to win the Premier League, because he hasn't got a brilliant pedigree behind him, has he? He did win a few Norwegian titles at Maul, didn't he? Obviously, he was very, very bad at Cardiff. Only enjoyed a short tenure at Cardiff. He got sacked after 29 games. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting them relegated. But I always said, we need to give Solskjaer another season, because it does take some managers time to settle in. It is a transition period at Man United, and it has been a transition period for a while. I think we've got a good squad. Like I said, I'd sell a lot of players in this summer transfer window, but there's also a lot of players I would keep. Obviously, keep Martial, he's done well under Solskjaer. Keep Rashford, he's a foreseeable future for Man United. Keep Greenwood, keep Williams. Lindelof will stay with us for at least another season. If he's to be poor this season, he could possibly go sometime next year. We'll probably keep Bay at least for another season. He's our backup centre-half. My element of concern about Eric Bay, though, he's injury-prone. Obviously, keep the signings that Solskjaer's brought in so far. You know, Solskjaer's brought 6 senior players in so far and spent over £200 million. He's also brought a few academy players into the club. Keep Fred. Keep McTominay. Matic will stay for at least another season. I think Juan Mata, he will stay for at least another season. Keep Luke Shaw, despite the fact that he's injury prone. Obviously, Luke Shaw's got to improve on his fitness. Obviously, we know that we're going to keep David De Gea. Obviously, we know Agallo's going to be staying with us till January. Whether we decide to get him permanently or not, I do not know. But if things don't work out this season, then I think a lot of Manchester United fans will be demanding Ollie out of the club. Like I've said though, Man United are not known for a sacking football club, despite the fact that we have sacked 3 managers since the Ferguson era. Obviously, you know, we sacked David Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. And I just think it's going to be hard for any manager at Manchester United to replicate Ferguson's legacy or to last as long as Alex Ferguson did, you know what I mean? But the success came under Ferguson, because since Ferguson we've been inconsistent. Even before Ferguson we weren't good. You know, we weren't good under Ron Atkinson, we weren't good under Franco Farrell. We got relegated under Franco Farrell in 1974, which was 40 odd years ago. And we weren't good under Wilf McGuinness either. So let's just put that into the equation. You know, but I think in the last 7 years, we have made a lot of mistakes. I think, you know, there's obviously a lot of the players that we have brought in haven't been the right calibre players for Man United. I think there's some players who we've brought in who, you know, we shouldn't have got rid of. You know, maybe we should have kept Herrera, should have kept Romelu Lukaku. You know what I mean? Some United fans will say we should have kept Angel Di Maria. We've extended a lot of players' contracts, especially under Solskjaer. I think there's some players we shouldn't have given contracts to, but there again, there's some players we give contracts to who deserve new contracts. And I just think, you know, the managers that we've had in the last 7 years since Ferguson have not been backed enough, quite frankly. You know. So, there you go. But I want Manchester United to make at least 2 signings before this summer transfer window shuts. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.